edition of the blurry version of my breakdowns because I have a horrible quality phone. um, I have to laugh at that. Anyway, Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill. Another version of the the veteran versus the prospect, right? I wish Angela Hill was this good early in her career. Probably she would have been a title contender by now, but I mean, it is what it is. She decided to take her career a bit late in life for some reason that probably no one will ever understand. Anyway, so officially my subscribers went with Angela Hill, and I'm going with Yasmin Lucindo. And I know before you guys say, "Oh, this girl is gonna get ragdolled," and I don't want to be that guy who's delusional about fighters' age, because ultimately at this particular point in time, even though I don't want to point this out, but Angela Hill is like 41 or something like that, and even though I know you probably a lot of people are going to say, well, Muslim Salihov knocked out Carlos Leo, um, Patricio Pitbull, a younger prospect, Michael Johnson, all these older guys, which you would be making a solid point, right? I don't know if Angela Hill is going to be able to actually get the upset in this particular fight. But before I actually make my final conclusion, go through the research that I did and properly break down the fight, and then I will make my opinion based off of that. And I would like to be as neutral as possible, despite the fact that I'm picking Yasmin Lucindo. I respect my subscribers picking Angela Hill because I do believe that Angela Hill is still pretty good. I just feel like she's not as threatening as she used to be. She has gotten better later in her career, and Yasmin Lucindo, to her or rather not to her point, she hasn't looked good in a previous fight. Or rather, she didn't look good in a previous fight, and I actually thought she would actually get that one done. Anyway, so Yasmin Lucindo is going to have a reach advantage. To be specific, Yasmin Lucindo is going to have a 1.5 inch reach advantage. I mean, that's not massive at all. I don't think it's going to influence the fight. Um, as far as finishing ability, Yasmin Lucindo is definitely the better finisher in this particular fight. She has a 65% finishing rate, whereas Angela Hill has a 34% finishing rate. So that basically means if Angela Hill wins, it's probably going to be via decision. I mean, it's women's MMA, so probably even Yasmin Lucindo. But if anyone is going to finish, it's probably going to be Yasmin Lucindo. Um, as far as striking ability, or rather, I feel like what do you call her? Angela Hill is going to be a little bit more active than Yasmin Lucindo. That actually worries me. If Yasmin Lucindo doesn't actually get the finish in this particular fight, I could see Angela Hill overwhelming her with the volume. But the thing that actually puts my worries a bit at rest is the fact that Yasmin Lucindo is better defensively. Elijah Youngblood, Pizarro, Angela Hill been making TikToks and shit. Hopefully that works in my favor. I'm picking Yasmin Lucindo, so hopefully that works in my favor. So I'm leaning as far as defense, the striking defense. I'm leaning more towards Yasmin Lucinda. I think she absorbs way less than Angela Hill. Angela Hill gets hit quite a lot. Obviously she's pretty decent, but I still feel like she gets hit quite a lot, and I don't like that, especially when considering the fact that Yasmin Lucindo is the finisher in this particular fight. So um, as far as let me actually check how like as far as percentages go. Yeah, Yasmin Lucindo has 47% finish, but again TKOs and KOs. So that's pretty high versus an 18% submission wins. On the other hand, Angela Hill has 28% TKOs and the 6% submissions. So obviously, Yasmin Lucindo is probably going to be the one that finds a finishing shot. If anyone is going to find a finishing shot, I don't see Angela Hill actually finishing Yasmin Lucindo. The only concern that I have is the output. But in this particular fight, I feel like Yasmin Lucindo has more power. So I'm thinking because she's going to have a reach advantage as well as a defense advantage, I think maybe the damage that she lands a bit early will accumulate maybe in the first and second round. Even if she guesses out in the later half of the second round or the third round, I feel like she will have done enough, especially in the first and second round, in order to secure the round for herself. So as far as striking goes, I think it could be very competitive, especially because what do you call her? Angela Hill throws a lot, but the thing that puts my heart at rest or my worries a little bit at ease is the fact that I have a bit more confidence in Yasmin Lucindo's defense. So because of that, I think I'm going to give a slight advantage to Yasmin Lucindo. I think that 1.5 inch reach advantage, it's not massive, but I think it's going to play a factor. Combined with the fact that she's better defensively, Elijah Youngblood Pizarro, have you done the Philly versus P-Rod? Oh, you mean Philly versus Rodriguez? Yes, I did it yesterday. It's available on the live section. You can just when you click on the channel at the top, just click live. I've already done Philly versus Rodriguez. If that's what you're asking about, I did it yesterday. So as far as grappling, I think this is where Yasmin Lucindo is going to be pretty dominant. However, Angela Hill is very hard to take down, so it's not going to be an easy night for her on the ground. But Yasmin Lucindo is going to be better, and Angela Hill does well when she can wrestle, in my opinion. I mean, she has decent striking, but I mean, it's not the best striking, to be honest. Um, she has decent striking. Didn't she lose to Mackenzie Dern and Tabata Ricci? Okay, Tabata Ricci got a finish, so let me not trash her for that. But she still lost to Mackenzie Dern. And I mean, Mackenzie Dern has been looking jacked recently, so maybe in hindsight, that's not a bad loss. But still, um, I don't necessarily feel like she's going to have any sort of advantage as far as finishing ability on the feet. All she has is volume. I think Yasmin Lucindo on the feet is going to be landing the bigger shots, avoiding too much damage on Yasmin Lucindo. I mean, on Angela Hill's side, obviously she's going to be throwing a lot, but I mean, how is she going to be landing successfully? So yeah, on the feed, more or less evenly matched, but I'm leaning more towards Yasmin Lucindo. On the ground, I think Yasmin Lucindo is way better. However, I do feel like Angela Hill is a little bit more difficult to take down. So, what do you call her? Angela Hill beat Caitlin Souza in her last fight via split decision. Okay, that's not too bad. And she submitted Pinheiro, lost to Tabata Ricci. Um, I mean, you know what? Angela Hill is not too bad, man. But 40 is too much for me to actually have any sort of confidence in her. So I don't know. In conclusion, I feel like Lucindo has a 1.5 reach advantage. She's better defensively. Offensively, the only advantage I would give to Angela Hill on the feet, she's not going to finish anyone. So the only advantage is maybe cardio and volume. That's the only advantage. And those things might not be present, in my opinion, especially at her age, like she's 40. So um, at that age, I don't know if they're going to be present. On the ground, Yasmin Lucindo is way better than Angela Hill. The only issue, obviously, is going to be the fact that Angela Hill is really difficult to hold down. But I do think, even if it's via robbery, I do think Yasmin Lucindo should actually win this one. Short Shot McGee, Hill just cause she's old and old people taking over you. Nah, shame, man. Short McGee has stopped trying to predict fights, guys. Like, She's he's tired. Like we are always here breaking down fights, and these old dudes who just come in and they destroy. And that's what I said initially at the beginning of the stream. I was like, you know what? I don't want to mention the fact that Angela Hill is old, but I mean she's 40, and Yasmin Lucinda is young, like she's like 23. But I mean, Michael Johnson won. Muslim Salihov knocked out Carlos Leo. But once again, Yasmin Lucindo is not an unranked prospect, right? When you look at the people who've been losing, Carlos Leo is not ranked. Daniel Zalhuba, is he ranked? I don't think he's ranked. Danny Ige is the disappointing one because I expected more from him, but it is what it is. Patricio Pitbull was a champion in other division, other promotions. Who else? There was another old dude who just won this weekend. Can you remind me? Can you remind me who that was? Um, let me see. Shoshot McGee, 2025 year of the Ankh. Shoshot McGee, Hill will outgas the young bug. Hill via arthritis and cardio. Wow. Elijah Youngblood, this is the year of the Ankhs, yeah. It's kind of crazy, man. But I still feel like Yasmin Lucindo should win this one. I mean, if she can't beat Hill, at this point, she needs to be cut from the UFC. Like, I can forgive the other losses. And actually, it's not. I think she only lost in a previous fight. Let me actually check Yasmin Lucindo's record and see if she's been fighting scrubs, and that's why her performance was pissy. I mean, okay. I think Yasmin Lucindo has had a very hand-picked rise to the top. I hate to say it. She lost. She lost to Jasmine Jericho. What do you call her? And Yasmin has been is on a losing streak right now in her debut. I mean, that's kind of sad that she lost to her. And then she beat what do you call her? Brogan Walker via decision. Like, why make it competitive? But Brogan is kind of hard, so you know. I'll forgive the decision because she's hard. And she beat Viviane. Oh, Poliana Viana. No? Yeah, she beat Poliana Viana. I don't know how impressive that is. Oh, I'm now feeling like I'm not so confident. She beat what do you call her? Carolina Kavolkevich. I don't know if I pronounced the name properly. And then she beat Marina Rodriguez. I mean, Marina Rodriguez, didn't she give problems to what do you call her? Let me see. Let me see. Okay, Marina Rodriguez is a disappointment at this point. I wanted to give her props, but I mean she's been losing to everyone. Oh my flippin' goodness. Marina Rodriguez is so Marina Rodriguez lost to like she is 5-1 in the last six fights. Let me check how fight goes. How long has she been losing? Wow, she has a win over Yang Xiaonan. Split decision. Okay. That kind of impressive. She has a win over Mackenzie Dern. Okay. I mean, Marina Rodriguez most recently hasn't been performing well, but when you go back to 2021, man, she has a win over Watterson Gomez, Michelle Watterson Gomez, but I mean, she was washed at that point. The Mackenzie Dern, I don't know. She wasn't buff at that point, but that's still a pretty good win. Yan Zhaonan is a really good win. She lost to Amanda Lemos. I mean, Amanda Lemos has proven herself to be pretty solid at the top. I mean, she beat what do you call her? Yasmin Lucindo. And then Rodriguez went to a decision with Verena Jandaroba. I feel like that's actually pretty decent. She rematched Michelle Watterson Gomez and TKO'd her. Uh, Lost a split decision to Jessica Andrade. That's kind of sad. Went to a split decision with Yasmin Lucindo. Lost via TKO to Gillian Robertson. Okay, I don't know, man. I just feel like Yasmin Lucindo probably is going to win this one. It might be closer than I anticipate, but I feel like Angela Hill, probably the only advantages I would give her in this particular fight is cardio and volume. Um, and I don't know if they are going to be the same because that's just the thing with age, is that there's going to be a day where you come in and you're like, oh shit, like why does she look like that? So I think Angela Hill is at that age. Dudes, it's a little bit different for dudes, right? I mean, for heaven's sakes, I mean, what do you call her? Bueno Silva has a win over Holly Holm. Like Bueno Silva finished Holly Holm, and it's not because Bueno Silva is more skilled. Like that's not the case. So I don't know. I feel like even though I truly agree that it's the year of the Anks, but when you look at the people these Anks have been beating, they are beating unranked prospects, right? Yasmin Lucindo is actually ranked above Angela Hill. So and I feel like she got enough experience like against Amanda Lemos, which is going to be very useful in this particular fight. And like you said, Shoshot McGee, you were telling me about the prospects, and you were like, man, these prospects after they lose, they come back better. Yasmin Lucindo is a good prospect, right? She hadn't lost. Granted, she has been fighting cherry picked fighters, pretty okay cherry picked fighters. Some of them are pretty good, but still, the mere fact that she wasn't even finished by Amanda Lemos, I mean, that's a sad win. But still, I generally do feel like Yasmin Lucindo is going to win this one. So I'm going with Yasmin Lucindo. My subscribers are going with Angela Hill. Yeah, I talk too much. um, Hill via IQ over 73. Shashot McGee, I don't know if you're still online, my guy. The UFC IQ average is so low. The older guy win via wisdom and effort. Oh snap! Elijah Young, Blood Pizarro, battle versus Ribovics, DDP, Hamza Chimaev, Barbosa versus Draka Klaus. Let the people know. Ah man, I think Battle versus Ruziboyev is a really good fight because it's hard for me to make a call right now. I don't know. It feels like Ruziboyev looks a bit better. Um, Ruziboyev is busy finishing guys, right? Battle, I used to have a lot of faith in Battle. In his last fight, he didn't look that great. So early prediction, I'm going Ruziboyev, but I could change my mind. I just didn't like Battle's last fight. DDP versus Hamza. I mean, apart from the delays, I feel like everyone already knows. I'm going Hamza Chimaev all the way. Even though I'm South African and DDP is South African, I'm going Hamza Chimaev. I'll give my reasons when I break it down. Barboza versus Draka Klaus. Another hard one. An Unk versus a prospect. But I don't feel like Draka Klaus is that great. A lot of people overrated him. I don't think I was one of them. I used to pick him, but I don't think I'm one of the people who overrated Draka Klaus. So I don't know. I'm leaning more towards Edson Barbosa, but I'll see. I'll see when I actually have to do the predictions for that. Joshua McGee, all the low weight champs at 34 to 36. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Yeah, Pantoja, Marab. Shit, and Marab is like 34 to 34, 35. Alexander Volkanovski, 34, 35. I think the youngest one is Ilya Tuporia and Jack Della Maddalena. Middleweight, Dricus Duplessis is also pretty young, but still, I think he's like 32 or 30, 33, something like that. Ankalaev is also pretty young. Tom Aspinall is pretty young. So yeah, I agree. Um, Apart from Ilya Tuporia, when you go down, like they are very very older. Elijah Youngblood, Godinez versus Andrade. I would have to do a bit more research, but I feel like Andrade is washed a bit at this point, which is kind of sad because she's still in her prime, right? Which is what worries me. But I think Shawshot McGee said something very important. He was like, Andrade is busy, opened her gym, and she's basically using it to. This is all alleged. This is not my opinion. This is what the subscribers are saying. She's using it to meet girls, basically. Um, but allegedly. This is not factual. It's just something I'm reading. I'm quoting from my subscribers. So I feel like if Jessica Andrade was taking her career seriously, I think she could make a run at the title. But the mere fact that she's opened up her own gym, so I don't think even her coaches will probably be a little bit more lenient. So I'm going. I'm going Jessica Andrade to be honest. I mean, I'm going Lupi Godinez. I'm not very confident, but I'm going early. I'm going Lupi Godinez. Um, Renier the robber, Shoshat McGee is just taking hill because he's frustrated at the unsuccess. Angs are winning left and right. Yeah, I hear what he's saying, but I feel like Yasmin Lucindo, if you look at what the people that the Angs have been beating, they've been beating guys like Daniel Zellhuber, Kevin Holland, um, what do you call her? What do you call him? Um, did I mention Carlos Leo? Dan Ige is kind of disappointing, like I said, but it's not ranked. It's not anyone ranked in the top 10, right? Yasmin Lucindo is ranked number 8. So I don't think she's going to be one of the victims of the angst or the aunties. She's not going to be a victim of the aunties because these angst are normally beating these young upcoming prospects who are usually not ranked. Like Carlos Leo, not ranked. Zelhuba, I think he's not ranked. Kevin Holland, I mean, he's ranked, but he clearly isn't actually taking his career seriously. Um, Dan Ige, a disappointment, but it is what it is. Kind of which Ank won the last weekend? Who's the Ank that actually got it done? There was an Ank that actually won, but a lot of these Anks win against the ranked, lower ranked prospects or prospects who've never even actually been ranked. So this we're talking about a young fighter in the top 10, right? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going Yasmin Lucindo. Yeah, Neil Magny, but that's different. I mean, Neil Magny, it was two unks actually fighting each other, and to be fair, I think Neil Magny is a bit younger, so in this case, Neil Magny is a young buck, Um, yeah, Rene the Robber. Is that, is that I don't want to even say his name, but still, yeah, the dude. They were both old, but Neil Magny was younger. So the point I'm trying to make is normally when these unks win, it's against unranked and usually untested or washed lower ranked fighters. So I think Yasmin Lucindo is pretty decent, even though she lost to Amanda Lemos. And I will say this: I genuinely feel like if Amanda Lemos was able to keep the fight on the feet, she was winning the exchanges. Call me crazy, go back and watch that fight. The Zhang Wei Li versus Amanda Lemos. That's why Zhang Wei Li was taking her down so many times. Zhang Wei Li needed to take down uh, Amanda Lemos. Obviously, Zhang Wei Li started to have success later in the fight when she gassed out Amanda Lemos. But Amanda Lemos has pretty good stand up. If Zhang Wei Li had to wrestle Amanda Lemos, then I don't feel too badly for with I don't feel like the loss to Amanda Lemos for Yasmin Lucindo is that bad. But the sad part is she's old, man. She's an auntie. So when these young people are busy losing to older fighters, it's kind of sad. Problem. She had takedown defense. Unfortunately, Brazilians understand what that means. No shot at Brazil. I'm just frustrated, guys. I apologize to my Brazilian subscribers. But man, like it's like they're okay with being taken down. Like it was so frustrating to watch. In any case, I'm still going with Yasmin Lucindo. Hopefully, somehow, even though she's the better grappler here, I hope she doesn't do what Zaleski dos Santos did. So yeah, let me see. Rene the Robber, he'll probably wins because of old head magic. Slightly leaning Yasmin Lucindo though. Yeah, now I'm officially picking Yasmin Lucindo. I'm not even going to change my mind on this one. I feel like Angela Hill has been slowing down more and more in her last couple of fights. So I'm not going to give too much weight to that particular performance. I mean, I'm not going to give too much weight to Yasmin Lucindo losing to Amanda Lemos, a former title contender, who I will reiterate, if that fight was on the feet, if Zhang Weili did not wrestle Amanda Lemos, it would have been problematic for her. Right? Go back and watch that fight. Before you call me crazy, go back and watch that fight. But yeah, it is what it is. Uh, let me see. Elijah Youngblood. No underdogs on this card. I don't know. I'll keep an eye out for my underdog, my upsets predictions, which come out on Friday. That's when I'll actually go through every single fight and do my predictions for upsets and the best underdogs and everything like that. So at the moment, it's hard to say. I will only be able to officially analyze because what I do is I compile a bit of information for breakdowns. After breaking down fights, I have a better picture of um, who I think is going to be a bit of a harder matchup than the other, and that's when I can properly do upside predictions. So keep an eye out for that one later this week. Rene the Robber, there will be a few underdogs, maybe. Yeah, possibly. Should be similar to last card. Yeah, I could see that happening. But I saw someone in the comment section say Andre Fili is going to knock out Christian Rodriguez. Before I leave, who has knocked out Christian Rodriguez? You know, sometimes like some things that people say, man. The only person who's ever been able to finish Christian Rodriguez was Julian Erosa, and it was via submission. No one has knocked out Christian Rodriguez. So whoever is busy saying Andre Fili is going to knock out Christian Rodriguez is crazy to me. I'm being respectful, by the way, when I say crazy, because anyone who's on my channel, I try to give them respect. Otherwise, I would have gone ham. But still, like Andre, if anyone is getting knocked out, it's probably Andre Fili. Andre Fili like gets knocked out by almost everyone at this point. I feel like he's actually kind of chinny. Anyway, that was my frustration with that comment. It was ringing in my head. I had to address that. Let me go to the last fight for today. I was a little bit busy, so I'm only going to be breaking down two fights today. So the next fight that I'm going to break down is Miles Johns versus Gene Matsumoto. If you want to join me, let's go there. I love and appreciate all of you. Deuces.